Episode 99 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. We're almost at the century mark. We've got some special things planned for next week. We don't know what they are yet, but I'm just going to tell you that we've got something special in mind. If you're watching on our live Twitch feed or you're checking us out on YouTube, you can see Stacey King alongside and Tim Kelley. And we'd like to welcome a brand new sponsor to Gimme the Hot Sauce. It's episode 99. Where you been, Jim? Jim Lecter of Biggers Mazda. We're very happy to have him on board. Tell the folks where they can get a beautiful new ride in the Mazda family.
I'll tell you, we also have Chevrolet and Mitsubishi in the group, and we're in Elgin.
Okay.
And this is Bob Cowell, who runs the stores.
Bob.
And we are building a brand new Mazda store on Randall and 90. It's going to be the largest in the state. So right now we're on Irving Park Road, right by Shales Parkway, and come by. We have inventory now.
Well, that's great, because during the pandemic, it was tough to get cars, wasn't it?
Yeah, we actually have more now than we have in the last 2 years. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, how did you ever cross paths with Tim Kelley? Because one of the running jokes on the show is it's like 6 degrees of separation to Tim Kelley. It seems like he knows everybody somehow. How did you guys cross paths?
It's community service, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Community service.
Oh, wow. we got a felon in here.
So Tim's daughter, Kiara, and my son, Grant, are really good friends from school. So we met through our kids.
Yeah. And have you had a chance to check out the podcast and all the chicanery that goes on around here?
I have.
Yeah. We always have a good time. That's the one thing that is important to the show. And we're glad to have you guys on board.
Thanks.
And thanks for coming on the Gimme the Hot Sauce family. So
glad to be here.
So make sure you check out for all your auto needs. Go to Biggers Mazda. You got a website that they can go to if they want to check out the...
BiggersMazda.com, BiggersChevy.com, and BiggersMitsu.com.
That seems simple enough, right, Stace?
Yeah, we'll definitely have that on. We'll put that on our little screen over there, so everybody will know where that is. We lose a sponsor every week, so hopefully we won't lose you, because Tim has a potty mouth, so hopefully we won't lose you.
I'll say something dumb.
Hey, for all you rock and roll fans, we've got a special treat coming up later. Charlie Benante, who is the drummer for the group Anthrax, is going to be joining us later. And we're going to have an interesting conversation there. This isn't just a basketball podcast as we get ready for the start of the NBA season, which is going to start with Media Day on Monday, and then the first training camp practice for the Bulls is going to be Tuesday. And Stacey, that must bring back some good memories and some painful memories, because it used to be you guys were growing 2 a day, sometimes 3 a days. They've kind of backed off a little bit on the physical challenges.
Yeah, it's totally different now than when I played. I was just over there today at the Advocate Center, seeing everybody back. Everybody's back. The energy's there. You see a lot of the veterans pulling back in. All summer, most of the guys have been out. As you see the preseason schedule, I really like to know who scheduled that Toronto Raptors game.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
To Toronto in a preseason game. Somebody, seriously, it must have been a monkey in an astronaut suit or something. Because, we should never play a preseason game.
No, it should be close.
It should be Milwaukee, Detroit, Indiana, Minnesota. That's where it should be. To send us way out to Toronto that early in the season and.
Well, remember when of course you remember, when MJ was playing, you guys would take the show on the road. You'd play in Peoria and Fargo, North Dakota, Sioux Falls. You guys were going all over the Midwest because everybody wanted to see MJ and the superstar Bulls.
Well, and the Bulls recognized that some of those people were not able to see an NBA game and to see Michael Jordan play, and see that great Bulls team. So we'd end up playing in some places that were not NBA cities, but then we also played in places like Superdomes that were amazing. And the one thing that I remember about those preseason games is that, today's stars sit out. They sit out like 2 or 3 games. Michael, Scotty, John Paxson, the veteran players, they understood what it meant for the fans to see, an NBA game and see the stars. So Michael would always play, 2.5 quarters to give the people their money worth and, get a couple of dunks, couple of steals. And, they'd go away saying, man, I got a chance to see one of the greatest players play. Now, you can imagine if you had paid money to go see Michael Jordan and he didn't show up because he's load management in preseason, you would be upset, especially if you drove that far to go see it. So he understood his role in the NBA as far as the fans were concerned, and that's probably why he's still one of the most popular, players in the game. He's been out of the game almost 30 years.
What was the smallest venue you played in with the Bulls when you were traveling around during preseason?
Whoa, I'd probably say it was in Buffalo. playing in a little Buffalo arena. It's probably about 12, 13,000 people.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. I mean, I played in bigger venues in college, but it was real small. But I like those kind of arenas because everybody's right on the floor. The energy's there. It just gets you really pumped up to play because the crowd is so close. Again, just being there and being with the Bulls was just an awesome experience.
Well, the Bulls are getting ready. They're going to play a 4-game exhibition slate. There used to be 8 back in the day, but they've cut that down with the different collective bargaining agreements to try to cut back on wear and tear on the players heading into the season. Big story surrounding the Bulls right now came out regarding Lonzo Ball. We were wondering about what his status was going to be going into the start of the season. He is going to have a procedure done on his left knee next week, Wednesday, what they're calling an arthroscopic debridement, which is basically clearing out debris in the knee joint, and hopefully that's going to give him some relief from the pain that's forced him to miss really the second half of last season and most of the summer. Stacey, I know you're not a doctor, but I'm sure you've had people who've had that procedure. You think this is going to give him the relief he's been looking for?
Well, Mark, I'm not a doctor, but I did stay in a Holiday Inn last night. Okay, so I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this. Okay, no, seriously, I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn. I don't stay at Holiday Inns.
America, 4 seasons, Mr. King.
America's 5-star hotels, baby. Ritz-Carlton. I'm sorry. It's a big blow. It's a big blow because this is something that's been going on all summer long. Everybody's want to know what's Lonzo's situation. We all know how important Lonzo is to this team, and he's a big reason this team could be a big threat. Now it's a situation where he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. They're going to evaluate after that to see where they are. You might not see him back for a little bit. And that's going to be I tell you what, that signing for Goran Dragic is huge right now.
Yeah.
Because now you got a veteran point guard who's used to being a starter. He's not going to play 30 minutes a night, but he'll give you what he can in that 28 minutes. And then you got young Ayo still there. You got Caruso there. So you got the guards are pretty much, they can hold down the fort until Zoe gets back.
And it's important to point out they're saying they're going to reevaluate his situation in 4 to 6 weeks. That doesn't mean he's going to be ready to play in 4 to 6 weeks. It's more likely going to be a couple of months. So that was the subject of our poll question, which got a lot of responses. Which player do you think should start at point guard while Lonzo is out of the lineup? And here's what the voting looks like right now. 50% of the folks have voted for the local kid, Ayo Dosunmu from the University of Illinois. Alex Caruso drawing about 27% of the vote. For the live Twitch folks, you still have time to vote on that. We'll update those results before we get out of here. And Stacey, I kind of agree with that. I think Ayo's put in a lot of time during the summer to get stronger. And I saw a stat today which was amazing on Basketball Reference, I think, where they said that Ayo Dosunmu, through the various metrics they have, ranked number 1 in the NBA in on-ball defense. He was ahead of Lonzo Ball.
Well, I mean, and that's important because you need a guy at the top of the circle that can fight through screens, that can lock down people. He's one of those guys. Caruso's one of those guys. Now if you decide to go with Ayo as a starter, you're basically bringing, 2 guys off the bench in Caruso and Dragic that can play well together too.
Right.
And you can play, Caruso at the 2-guard spot, and you're going to have a really good second group coming out. Ayo, in my opinion, has really earned the right to battle for that position. And the way he played last year and how he finished strong. I know people say, well, the playoffs, they cut his minutes in the playoffs.
Right.
But I feel like just watching him this summer, he's a different kid. He's put on probably about 10 pounds of muscle. He's been in the gym every single day. No one works harder than this kid because last year, remember, he had a chip on his shoulder being drafted in the second round. That carried him throughout the whole year, and he still has that mentality. And you got to remember, he's a Chicago kid.
Yeah.
So he's Chicago tough.
Yeah, I was talking about those defensive metrics. The Bulls had 3 guys in the top 5. Javonte Green was 3rd, and Lonzo was 5th. So the Bulls, people talked about their defensive issues later in the season, but this is the team that can get out and guard you when everybody's healthy. It was interesting, we showed those poll results. Kobe White was running last. Talking about a chip on your shoulder. That kid's got to have a chip on his shoulder. I saw a photo of him recently. It looks like he's been in the weight room as well.
America. Kobe White is going to be fine. I'm just telling you right now. Kobe White, Patrick Williams are going to have breakout years, and they're going to be the reason why the Bulls are a team to watch throughout the season. I think when Zoe comes back and they're fully healthy, just like last year, I mean, if any team loses key players, it's going to be a blow to them. So if the Bulls can, maintain and hold down the fort till Zoe gets back, but I still think Patrick Williams and Kobe White are in for big years. Kobe's going to shoot the ball 1,000 times better than he did last year. And I keep telling people, they're so quick to trade him. They're so quick to get rid of him. You don't find guys that can shoot almost 40% from the three-point line when he's healthy. Okay,
Yeah.
So temper the trade Kobe thing. Okay, give him a chance. You got to remember, Kobe White missed all the summer last year with a torn labrum. He missed all training camp. He didn't have any practice time when he came back, and the team was already established once he came out there. So he had to try to find a role. He's going to be able to battle for minutes from the start. And if he shoots the ball like he's capable of shooting the ball, Mark, he is going to be in the lineup, and he's going to get heavy minutes.
We talked a lot about teams improving during the offseason, and some squads are still trying to get stronger as we go. News of a trade in the NBA today, the Detroit Pistons picking up Bojan Bogdanovic. That's a good move for them. I mean, we're talking about Detroit getting better with the two young guards and Cade Cunningham and Jalen Ivey. This is a team that's going to be interesting now when you add the shooting of Bogdanovic in that lineup.
Well, I mean, you get a guy who's 6'7", small forward, can play, stretch four, a reliable outside shooter to go with Cade Cunningham, who does a great job as a 6'7" point guard. Now they're starting to surround him with talent. Last year he showed you like what he can do and how he can elevate his team, but now you're starting to put legitimate pieces around him that can really thrive and have him thrive as a point guard. So I tell you what, I said this before, the last couple of weeks on this show, Detroit is a team, I expect them to have the kind of a jump that the Bulls and Cleveland had last year. The Central Division is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
I mean, any team you play, with the probably exception of
Indiana's in a big rebuild.
Indiana's in a big rebuild, but they still have quality players there. So it's going to be a dogfight every night. You got Indiana, who's going to be the bottom, but you got Detroit, you got Milwaukee, who's still the class of the Central Division. You got the Bulls, who arguably is the second best team, and then you got Cleveland, and they've improved with Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
So every single night is going to be a dogfight.
The NBA is so strong right now, it's ridiculous. There's only 4 or 5 teams that you can say legitimately are not going to make the playoffs, and the Central Division is going to be tough night in and night out. Jim, even when our sponsors aren't in studio, we always give them a good mention on the show. And one of our good buddies, Jeff Vukovic from Nationwide Insurance. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance, our good buddy, Jeff Vukovic. He is Nationwide's best. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And if you're watching on Twitch or checking us out on YouTube, you can see all his information right there. So, Stacey, it's almost NBA season. You got to make sure that the Golden Pipes are in good shape.
Nationwide is on your side. Woo!
Jim,
How you like that, America?
You got a jingle for us?
And I'm not singing it.
What is your catchphrase or slogan? You got one that your go-to?
Chevy Heaven.
Okay.
Bigger Chevy Heaven. And right now, the Mazda machine on Route 19.
Oh, yeah.
But then we're moving to Randall, so we got to come up with a new one.
All right. Well, we'll make sure that Stacey gives you a good Golden Pipes version.
All right.
So.
Always.
Sounds good.
Hey, before we bring in our special guest, a couple of other NBA topics we want to talk about, and both of them are dealing with things that have happened off the court. The Boston Celtics, the defending Eastern Conference champions, are going to start training camp with a bit of upheaval. They will not have their head coach on the sideline. Ime Udoka is likely to be suspended for the entire 22-23 season as the result of having a consensual, intimate relationship with a Celtic staffer. And what they're saying is he violated the team's code of conduct. We don't know any of the details involved here, but just the reality that they're going to make him sit for the entire year. And Stacey, I've always been of the mind that the NBA is a players' league. Maybe you can tell people how much will the head coach not being there impact the Celtics' fate this year?
Well, hold on. Can we go back to that screenshot, please? Where you pull it back up. Who in the world would you sleep with this man?
You know what, Stacey? Hey, Stacey, I made a joke earlier to the guys that saying that, thinking there's no way that people with reasonable intelligence would put that up.
Oh my God!
Hey, these guys might get suspended for months.
Would you sleep with this man, America?
Well, it says source CBS Sports.
Hey, listen,
Is that from CBS?
Let's take that down.
Okay,
I think we'll retire that one for the rest of this.
America. That didn't come from me, okay? Hey, I ain't mad at you, though. Hey, knee long. Oh, Lord, this might be a free agent, baby. Oh, Lord. All I'm going to say about this is like, listen, I don't know the details.
No, none of us do, yeah.
Nobody knows, okay? But all I do know is that if anything, he violated his marriage.
Yeah.
You know, he should be worrying about Nia Long and what's going to happen.
And they
to his
have
family.
a 10-year-old son.
And they have a son.
Yeah.
And, you know, he violated his marriage. And that's the big thing there, you know. And so, but as far as like, it wasn't like Sarver, you know, making lewd comments or, you know, inappropriate pictures or things like that.
Yeah.
It was two consensual adults that worked together. And you know, I didn't understand that.
Some people have said on Twitter that it can't be consensual when it's a boss-employee relationship. That's where they're going with that. Just by the letter of that, you can't have a consent. I think that's crazy, but that's you know, that's our society.
The only thing I would say about that is that, I mean, how many places in America that people in the offices are dating or they have consensual relationships? You know, you see it every day. You read about it all the time. So what's the difference? You know, and so that's a real sticky situation.
And this is a Boston Celtics decision.
Yes.
This is not Adam Silver in the NBA issuing a 1-year suspension. They're saying that he violated the team code of conduct.
I mean, you might want to start reading contracts.
Yeah,
Guys might start wanting to read contracts and make sure, like, whatever's in there, instead of just signing it, you better make sure to read what's in there.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, if that was in there, that was probably in like some small print, and you had to get a magnifying glass to see that one. Because it's amazing. It's amazing to me that this is such big news.
Yeah.
You know, and that it got out there like that. Because again, you said it's a Boston Celtic thing. Why wasn't that closed doors? Why wasn't that, you know, kept inside to the Boston Celtics? I mean, literally, Woj dropped a bomb. It was like, dun, 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 and he comes out with this thing. And again, if it was a Boston Celtic thing, not an NBA thing, how did it get out?
Yeah.
That should have been handled behind closed doors, and maybe they don't even let everybody know what happened. Maybe they just said, "Hey, you guys suspended for, you know, XYZ," and don't even put it out there. But to release that like that, and then I guess there's some reports they put the girl's name out there, which is wrong to do too.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was one report they linked the coach who was the head of player development because she was the only female in basketball ops. Oh. But then they quickly said, no, that's not her. So, I mean, she's already had her name thrown out there. Yeah, she's already,
I mean, so that it was handled, in my opinion, it was handled wrong. You know, that should have been handled behind closed doors. And then once you decided what his fate was going to be, then you come out and release it. You say, hey, okay, he's suspended for, you know, 25 games for inappropriate, you know, whatever. But don't put it out there now, because this man has a family.
Right.
You know, the girl has a family, and it wasn't even the girl, but she has a family. And I just think it was handled wrong.
Yeah, I asked you about how it's going to affect them on the court. They were looking like they'd be the Eastern Conference favorite. They added Malcolm Brogdon. They got a great guard rotation now to go with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who's been ranked in the top 10 in all the preseason rankings. That's a team that has aspirations of winning a championship. Is this going to hurt? Because they're bringing a guy from the second row of the bench, Joe Moczalla, I think his name is, to coach the team.
Well, the problem, too, you got to remember, Robert Williams is out, too.
Right.
You know, he hurt his knee. So that's something that was lingering from last season. And that's a big blow for them, because this is a young big that really helped them in that series against Golden State. And when he's healthy, he is a very good rim protector. He's a guy that can cover so much ground. He can switch on guards, and they are going to miss that. And you also got Al Horford, who's like, I think in year 17, you know, so he's getting older. So there's a lot of things, you know, and you got to remember too, Mark, they struggled at the beginning of the year. Halfway through the first half of the season, they were awful. Bulls went in there and they manhandled them. They were awful. So then all of a sudden they have a team meeting. We got to turn this around. And then they turned around. They were one of the hottest teams in the second half. Now you're bringing somebody from behind the bench to coach. And, you know, that could be some problems because, you know, Udoka's got a strong personality. Even though he's a quiet guy, he's a strong leader. And so now someone else has to come and take the reins. And now how will the two young players, you know, Tatum and Brown, handle this? Oh, it's my shot now. It's my shot. Because you remember, Brown might be a little salty because his name came up in trades,
rumors, yeah, Kevin
for
Durant.
And so he may be still feeling about that. Like, I get you guys to the finals, help you get to the finals, and now you put me on the trade block. So there may be some problems there. Boston is not, on paper, Boston looks good. But I'm not sold on the Boston Celtics being the team coming out of the Eastern Conference this year. I'm just not.
And if you saw the graphic, we didn't have anything bad about Joe Moczalla at the top. It was just Joe Moczalla steps up. So
I didn't want to say anything. I don't want to say that shit. I didn't want to say anything. Nothing about Joe up there, did we? Okay.
Hey, the other big story in the NBA, it looks like the Phoenix Suns are for sale. Jim, you got enough money to buy the Phoenix Suns?
I was going to borrow it from him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to get Whispers as an NBA owner. That would be something, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't last long either.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be right behind Sarver.
Yeah, Robert Sarver, after all the horrible publicity from the things that he said and did during his reign as owner of the Phoenix Suns, is indicated that he's going to sell the Suns and the Phoenix Mercury. He's going to come out of this with a huge profit because the value of NBA franchises has really shot up. But, we saw comments from LeBron James and Chris Paul, saying that the punishment, saying that he'd be suspended for a year and a $10 million fine wasn't enough. And he felt enough pressure where he was losing sponsors, and he finally decided that there was no way for him to come out of this with the team still in his control. So he's going to sell the franchise, and people around the NBA are applauding that.
Well, I mean, there's no place for what he did.
Right.
I mean, just because you're, on the team doesn't allow you to be a jerk and be, male chauvinist and all the things that he did is wrong. And, I think Adam Silver felt a lot of pressure because when he came out with that first, $10 million fine, people looked at him like, what? Sterling, y'all kicked Sterling out the league. so wait a minute, hold up. Why is he getting the pass? He did probably the exact same thing that Sterling was doing. So he felt some pressure on that, man. And, the players were talking, everybody was talking about it. And I think he did the right thing. I mean, when you start losing sponsors of your team, that makes you think a little bit different.
Yeah, there's a lot of high-profile businessmen who are being rumored, including Bob Iger, who was the head of Disney for a long time, that may step up and try to buy that Phoenix Suns franchise. So that'll be something.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and because that's
a good team.
It's a license to print money down there.
Yeah,
it's a good franchise, good young talent. Yeah, in a warm weather city where NBA players like to go. So that'll be a situation that we'll be following as we get into the NBA season. So a lot of off-the-court news. And Whisper, somebody on the Twitch chat is going after you. They said if Christopher Walken is still looking for a fight, he should fight the one-armed lady that Stacey's a fan.
That's a good call. Somebody else has said Whispers is looking awful red today.
That comes up every week.
Wow.
Hey, it's 65 degrees. It's the first day of fall, so maybe Whisper's skin tone will get to a more normal shade at some point. So, speaking of Christopher Walken, it's time to read the Give Me the Hot Sauce ad.
Oh.
Come on. The folks wait for this.
Jeez.
They stay up all week just waiting for the
I'm just trying to
Christopher
stay
Walken.
up when he reads it.
All right. Trying to score the best hot sauce in the game? Well, listen up, because we have a variety of flavors that will bring some spice into your life. That's right. Give Me the Hot Sauce is the best small batch organic sauces for your kitchen. Is that right, Stace? No?
No.
Yes.
Well, the Chicago style red
best sauce anywhere.
Twist. Fan favorite St. Pat's Verde, our spicy Sweet King's Q, or the hottest of the bunch, Chicago Fire's 1871. That'll do it to your eyeballs, right, Mark?
That's right.
Stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com and use code KING21 to get 21% off your first order.
Nicely done.
That's nicely done.
Yeah. Christopher Walken is everywhere. The guy's got to be in his 70s. I just tried a new show on Apple called Severance.
That's right. I'm not slowing
and he's
down.
in that too. I mean, the guy is in. You're in everything.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. It's the only way to go.
You didn't get any Emmys though in the recent Emmy Awards. I thought for sure you.
I've been robbed for years.
Oh yeah, our weekly Christopher Walken segment, always a big hit, and another big hit. Charlie Benante, the drummer for Anthrax. He is in the waiting room. He's coming up next on episode 99 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. So keep it right here.
All right. Let's go, team.
Welcome back. Episode 99 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. We had the music played by D, but we have a special guest who could have handled his own musical introduction. He is Charlie Benante, drummer extraordinaire. Charlie, thank you so much for joining the show. How did you first get to know Stacey King?
Personally, or how did I know about Stacey King?
How did you first become aware of Stacey King?
With the Bulls, of course, back in the 90s. Anyone who loved basketball loved the Bulls at that time, too, because they were just on fire. I'll never forget when a mutual friend of ours, Brandon Wright, who used to work for the Bulls, he introduced me to Stacey King, and I'm like, what? And Stacey was so awesome from that moment on. He was just always so cool and just always took a liking to each other. And I would always say to Brandon, like, man, you meet someone and you hope that they're cool. He was very cool.
Your check's in the mail, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Was that good? Stacey, was that good?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
the way you rehearsed it.
Just the way we rehearsed it last night, Charlie. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners, because we, a lot of times, we try to do different things on this podcast. We're not all about sports. We bring in interesting people that do interesting things. And, you happen to be a friend of mine, and you are very interesting. And there's a lot of Anthrax fans out there. Let our listeners know how you guys came up, because you guys started in New York, right? You guys, that's where the group started. So tell our listeners how you guys came up with that name. Was there other names that you guys were looking at, and was that the first choice that came to your mind?
We had a whole list of diseases, but that one seemed to have the best ring to it, and it had an X in it, and you can do a lot more graphically with an X. So, no, but seriously, it was like back in high school, one of the guys just came up with the name. He was reading about it in science class, and it just stuck. And I'm not saying it was the greatest name, but you know how sometimes things just stick, and you gotta go with it. You gotta stay with it. So, but yeah, we all met, and we were right out of high school. We were like touring in a van, going across country, and I swear, man, I never looked back. And at the time, I was going to art school because that's what I wanted to do, is be like a graphic artist. So art in some way or another, I wanted that to be my career. And this happened. So the best part about it for me was I could do both things in this. You know what I mean? Because I would design the album covers and the T-shirts, and basically got a big jump in the art direction from the record labels. They would have the greatest art department, and I learned so much from them that there was my art education.
Well, you're still rocking strong at the age of 59. How tough is that on the body? I mean, the genre of music you played has got to be tough, not only on the ears, but just everywhere.
I don't think about it that much, to be honest with you. I don't think about age until someone brings it up. For me, in my head, I'm still young at heart. So there's a little wear and tear on my ears, but for the most part, as soon as I hear that intro music going, bam, I'm just in another world. And it's weird because I always thought us as like athletes, but athletes, to me, they give it up early on. And it's like, well, golfers don't. But you know what I mean? I never understood why they say, all right, you're done. You're past your prime. It's like, damn, I'm only like 32. It's weird to me.
When you go back to when you were riding in the vans and you guys were doing it, and I'm sure those were fun times, climbing up the ladder. When you guys finally feel like you actually made it? Like we're here, we made it. One of our records is playing on the radio station. Like how was that feeling, and how did it feel to see that happen and that hard work come to fruition?
So I would say it was our third record that we started to notice something was really happening here. Like our record was in the charts, and more people were coming to the shows, and it started to become, wow, like this is really happening for us. And the thing that helped us too is there were four bands that came up together. It was like us, Metallica, Slayer, and Megadeth, and they coined the phrase "the Big Four." So this was back in like 1986, and there was a movement. So it was the four bands doing this, and it really changed the face of hard rock or heavy metal music.
Charlie, I've got a nephew who plays the drums professionally, and he goes through tons of sticks. How many sticks do you go through in a week or in a year?
Oh man, that's a tough question because sometimes you get a really good pair of sticks and they'll last throughout the show, and then you get a pair of sticks where it's like, oh, first song broke, goodbye. But throughout the years, I designed my own, like, my signature stick, and now I don't have that problem too much because of the design on it.
When you talk about athletes, we talk about competition, and we talk about pushing each other and teams, and you have these the Detroit and the Bulls rivalries, the New York Knicks and the Bulls rivalry, like we're trying to like really destroy each other. How was it coming up in that Big Four? Because when you talk about the Big Four, was it competition between Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer, and were you guys pulling for one another, or was there competition, friendly competition?
Well, it's funny you should say that because Metallica came to New York. They're from San Francisco, and we had a mutual manager at the time, and he brought them to New York, and they stayed at our place, and we let them use. We had like a big rehearsal place, and they used that rehearsal place. We gave them certain things, amenities for their room, and just really kind of bonded with them and helped them a lot. And that friendship, has stayed till today with them guys. So there's always been a really good camaraderie with them. And the same with the other bands too, especially Slayer. Slayer are not with us anymore. They decided to call it a day, but the last big tour that they did, we were on that too. And we spent like months together, and it was bittersweet because we've known them since they were first starting out too, but they decided that's it. We've had enough.
Hey, Charlie, speaking of the other band, Steven Adler says you're the best drummer of all time.
Oh God, I love Steven Adler. He's awesome. I often say that first Guns N' Roses album wouldn't have been the first Guns N' Roses album without his feel, his drumming on it. He's got this swing to him. Yeah, love him.
He says it's because of the invention of your blast beat. Can you explain that?
Well, there's this beat, and it got called the blast beat. Back in like 1985, we did a record, a little side project. The guitarist Scott and I, and it was called the Stormtroopers of Death. And on this record, we have a song called Milk, and the beat in it is a very avant-garde, different way of approaching, but it's very fast, and it just sounds like I don't know, drums falling down the stairs, but in time, or like drums in a dryer or sneakers in a dryer, But like I said, it's in time, and then years later, a lot of the bands from Europe started to adapt to this type of style and beat and put it in their music. But yeah, it came from this one record called from the band Stormtroopers of Death. And that was it.
Jeez. Hey, speaking of that band competition, one more thing I got to ask you about. So you're a pinball guy. How come there's no Anthrax pinball machine? You got Iron Maiden, you got Metallica, Guns N' Roses.
AC/DC, I know,
yeah.
Man. It's like, come on, I talked to those guys at Stern, and I bet eventually they'll do one because God, I love those pinball machines. They're so much fun.
Charlie, you've traveled all over the world. Can you share a crazy tour story for our audience?
No. It's I have a tour coming up. I leave Saturday for the UK. Yeah. We haven't been there in years because of COVID. But I'm so looking forward to going there. I miss seeing, our fans in the UK, and especially now it has more of a meaning because the Queen, has since passed, and I don't know what the mood is going to be there, but yeah, I'm excited to go.
Yeah, the Queen was a big Anthrax fan.
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Without a doubt.
huge. I wish she would have. Well, we couldn't be knighted, but.
I got another question. Like when you look at today's, like you guys are the godfathers of heavy metal. Who today that you guys look at and you go, man, these guys are really good. They got a chance to be really, really good as they get older.
There's this band from Sweden that came out a few years ago. They're called Ghost, and they don't look like your normal rock band. They wear a theatrical type of thing. The singer looks like a skeleton, but he also dresses as if he's like the Pope. you gotta see it to believe it, but it's very theatrical. And when you go see them, they put on this really big show, and I think they really have something. I think they'll be around for a while.
You were born in New York, and you've got a lot of good friends in that area. Have you switched over in terms of your sports allegiances? Are you a Chicago guy now, rooting for Chicago teams?
Well, I've always loved Chicago baseball. Chicago basketball, and that's probably due to Michael Jordan. Who wasn't a fan of Michael Jordan? I mean, when we were in Europe, we would see people wearing Bull shirts. I'm like, what? But that brand is so global, and it's because of him, So I would say I do like the Cubs, and I was happy that I was here to see them win the World Series. That was a moment in time, and that was a great part of history. And I was so glad that I was here to witness that, and just you could feel the emotion in this town, So that was a good thing. So yeah, I do love the Cubs. I think they just have a brand too,
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie's played concerts with Bulls jerseys on.
Yeah, we saw that earlier.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
We played Riot Fest 3 years ago, was it? And they made us Bulls jerseys. It was awesome. And I said, could they be black? Because I love that look. And they did it. I was happy I had their names on it and everything, man. It's just, wow. That was a great thing,
How's it been playing with your nephew in the band?
It's like bands that have brothers or something like that. You always have this kind of this love, but it also you have this bickering too that is always there too. Because at the end of the day, the five of us in this band, out of the five, four of us have been together forever. And it's like brothers, and sometimes brothers get into it. I don't know if you guys have any brothers, but it's that's what it is. It's male bonding.
We see you've got the guitar in front of you. You also are an accomplished guitarist. How much does that help you in terms of composing music and getting ready for shows?
I mean, for me, that's all I've ever done is just write music for the band, and it's therapeutic. There'll be times when I'm just playing and I get possessed by the guitar. I don't even know where I am, and then I'll listen back to what I taped, and I'm like, wow, that's some really good stuff, and I'll have like 3 songs out of that. So guitar playing is something that I was a drummer first, but I always say I'm a guitarist trapped in a drummer's body, and but I'll just sit, watch television, just play my guitar. It just soothes me, like I am now.
I got another question because I've been always wanted to ask somebody this, and now that I know you personally, I can ask you this question: why is groups like the heavy metal groups are still going strong, and have a whole new audience, and then guys like Rat and all those big hair bands, that didn't last, they didn't last, through the decades. Like what was the reason for all those bands who were like really big time at one point and then they just disappeared?
That's a good question. I mean, there's still an audience, of course, for a lot of that. I mean, we just saw this past summer, Motley Crue and Def Leppard did a huge stadium tour and sellouts all over the place. So there is an audience. I think more or less the way it goes is like sometimes you don't see it like the way you used to see it, like on the TV or whatever. So you think it's gone, but it's really not. It's still there, and nowadays there's so much stuff with TikTok and online that a lot of things get lost. But for people who love that music back in the day, other generations pick up on it, and that's the one thing that's great about this last tour that we did. Our audiences have changed so much. We've had little kids in the front, and I'm just like, how is this happening? You know what I mean? But it's happening because the generation, either their dad or their brother or whoever, turns them on to it, and then bam, it's like sports. You grow up in a family that loves a certain team. Well, you're going to love that team too, because how could you not?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rat's in the Geico commercial now.
Really?
Yeah, they say we have a rat problem, and they show the band
Right,
in the basement.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of TV things, our good buddy over here, Tim Kelley, does a spot-on Christopher Walken impersonation. Did you ever see that Saturday Night Live sketch with Christopher Walken asking for more cowbell? You familiar with that?
More cowbell.
More.
I got a fever. And the only key is more cowbell.
Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
the
my
producer.
God. This guy.
Yeah. Hey, it's not me. That's who he's going for. I don't know who Will Ferrell's playing, but.
Oh, my God.
Hey, tell us about your business venture in the coffee industry.
The coffee, baby.
Yeah.
I need some
tell
more,
us about
too,
that.
baby. I need some more.
I mean, for me, growing up in New York, I was a coffee nut since I was a little kid. My mom used to say she used to put a little bit of coffee in my bottle, and I was on fire. So I've always been a coffee drinker. And Dave Mustaine, who's the guitar player in the band Megadeth, he hit me up about doing coffee, and we did. Both of us started a coffee brand, and then I think he got kind of bored of it, but I kept it going. So I found like my own place in New Jersey that roasted coffee, and I started to do it independently. And then someone turned me on to Dark Matter Coffee, who are here in Chicago, and met with them. And now they do the coffee for me. And it's such a great thing because I love those guys. I'll never forget the day I went down there to make the blends and what we were going to do. And we all sat around this table trying different types of coffee. And here's what I wanted. Here's what I wanted to taste like. Here's what, I want that kick when I drink it. And they totally got it. And we've been doing business together for about 5-6 years now.
It's very good coffee. And speaking of that coffee, I've been wanting to get some more, since I know the boss, so I can,
There you go.
And you know what? I'm in the hot sauce business right now, Charlie. Yes.
I heard.
And we're definitely going to give you some hot sauce, and I want you to try my hot sauce and let me know how you like it.
Absolutely. I have my girlfriend Carla and my daughter are the biggest hot sauce fans in the world. So please bring it on. They challenge the chef sometimes. Like, can you really? Do you have enough spice? We challenge that. So.
Hey, what can you tell us about the Butcher Babies these days?
They're on tour right now. They have 2 more shows left, and then they go to Europe as well. So they're working hard. Those kids. I feel like everybody's working hard now since they gave the green light. Yes, you can go on tour. Now everybody's on tour, and it's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing.
Tell us about the tour you're going to be going on. As the group is Pantera?
Oh, no, Pantera, that starts later this year. So
okay.
The story with Pantera is the 2 brothers who started the band, who were in the band, are no longer with us, and they were really good friends of mine. The other 2 members, Philip and Rex, they want to do a celebration of Pantera tribute, and they asked me to be a part of it. So, of course, for me, it's a very emotional thing because of my friendship with all of them. And I'm so excited about it because, it just means a lot to me personally, you know?
You know, my driver, you know, I have a driver at Windy City Limousine. So
He's listening right now.
He's listening right now. Mike
Live show.
Amaroth, he wanted me to ask you a question. He wanted me to ask you, do you know Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine?
I do know him, but I don't know him like personally, but I know he's from like near Vernon Hills.
Libertyville. That's what he was saying. Because I told him, I said, Charlie's in Long Grove. And he said, there's Tom Morello from the Rage Against the Machine. Ask him, does he know him? Because he's in Libertyville. And I'm like, man, we got these two rock guys living Long Grove, baby. Long Grove. There's a lot.
But he doesn't, I don't think he lives, I think he grew up there.
Yeah, he grew up there, yeah.
And I believe Adam from the band Tool also grew up there.
Wow.
They used to be friends. I think they went to the same school.
Yeah, Libertyville High School. I think he's out. I think he's out. I think he's in California or something now. But that's Long Grove, man. I'm telling you, man. We had a lot of important people out there, Mark.
That's right.
Okay? We had a lot of important people out there.
That's why they ran you out of there, right?
Wow, that hurt. That hurt. No, I left because I got tired of sitting in traffic for 2 hours trying to go to the United Center every day.
That's from anywhere in Chicago.
You know what, Mark? Mark, you're getting ready to get throat punched for real, Mark. See what I got to deal with, Charlie? Charlie, hit us with a riff right now, Charlie, because I want you to play that guitar because people just think you're the drummer. They don't know that you can play the guitar too. So just give us a little riff.
I mean, I could, but it's not plugged in. It's, you know.
Oh, Charlie, I've been hyping you up, baby.
I'll come down there with a big rig and just kind of, like do like a Marty McFly.
Yeah, you can blow the roof off this joint.
So I got one more question before we let you go. Like, okay, so you play the drums. Like, who was your inspiration playing the drums? Like, you had to have someone growing up that got you turned on to it, or you just happened to?
He was almost a drummer for Kiss at age 15.
Oh, yeah, that was a...
For real?
Well, I was there for the audition, but I was too young to do it.
Wow. So was it before Peter Criss?
You'd have to ask.
It was after Peter.
It was after Peter Criss?
Yeah.
Wow.
But for me, I grew up in a house with 4 older sisters, so I was, I absorbed everything that they would play. The first thing I really heard was the Beatles, and that was it. So Ringo, I'd have to say it's because of Ringo, because he just looked cool. And to this day, when you see Ringo, he's still doing it. He's 82 years old, and the dude plays like he's 50.
Really?
So, yeah, I have to say Ringo was the one. And then as I got older, it became like the drummer from Rush, Neil Peart. He was a big influence. Alex Van Halen, another one. Loved it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Phil Collins.
Love Phil Collins.
Yeah.
That's another one, yeah.
Well, Charlie, it was so nice of you to join us. Give us some of your time this afternoon. Best of luck with what's coming up, getting back out on tour, getting out to Great Britain, and we'll be sending some hot sauce your way. So keep rocking. All right.
Our producer, Maddie, she's a lovely girl. She'll be handling. She'll talk to you and get your address and send out the hot sauce, and so your girlfriend and daughter will be able to try the best hot sauce you ever taste.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you. Well, thank you, guys. I really appreciate this.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks for joining us on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Episode 99 rolls on.
99. Oh, yeah.
Back on episode 99 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. As we mentioned, NBA training camps open up next week. Media day for the Bulls is Monday. Their first training camp practice is on Tuesday, so that's going to get rolling. I saw Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves met the media today. Hockey is already going. They're going to start their exhibition games next week. So we're going to have all four major sports going next week. And unfortunately for Bears fans, Packer Week didn't turn out the way that everybody had hoped. They had a good win over the 49ers, but Green Bay really took them to the woodshed in that game.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook.
Oh, yeah.
They're tied for first place.
They let them off the hook, Mark. The Bears, they just let me down again,
Justin Fields only threw 11 passes in that game, which was a big point of contention. And then he had the little bit of a faux pas in the post-game press conference where he said that the fans don't work as hard as the players do. The players have a lot more invested in this. And people took that all the wrong way. It became a big deal. And then Justin had to go to the microphone Wednesday in his normal pregame press conference, and he didn't really apologize, but he clarified what he had said. And it's tough being a young quarterback in the NFL, especially when you have a shaky offensive line and you don't have impact wide receivers.
Well, I mean, the athletes nowadays take things personally. You got to let that go. This is a rivalry game. This means a lot to the Chicago fans. And they were coming in off a big win over the 49ers, who was a playoff caliber team, and still going to be a playoff caliber team with Jimmy G there. I think they're a much better team with Jimmy G as their quarterback. So put the graphic back up with the numbers again, guys, if you don't mind. You got Montgomery rushing for 122 yards.
Yeah, he was good.
Okay, so you see 15 carries, 122 yards. This sets up play action.
Right.
Okay, where was play action? I mean, 11 passes. You got a guy running through the tackles, just destroying the Green Bay Packers defense. And there's no play action passes. There's no deep balls thrown. You're not going to beat teams. When you got a guy that's rushed for 122 yards, you should be passing the ball all over the place. You should be coming out on first down, passing the ball, keeping the defense off balance. Because, again, a guy that gets 15 carries, 120, that is a big-time game for a running back. And to see he only got 11 passes, and, again, when you watch the game, where's the play action? Where are these receivers? I know, you see St. Brown there, 2 receptions, 39 yards. But where's Mooney? Where's Mooney at?
Mooney caught 1 pass for -4 yards.
I mean, seriously, you heard all this stuff that him and Fields have been working out together. They got rhythm. They're going to have a great combination.
Yeah.
I have not seen it at all.
They got to get that going. There's no question
it's almost
about it.
like you ought to put him on a milk carton. Has anyone seen Mooney? Because, in that San Francisco 49, we gave him a pass because it was raining.
Seen the total of first downs, though, for the Bears? Was it 6 so far in 2 games?
No, they have more first downs than that.
No, I think it's 6. And the next worst
We need
team
a
is
fact
13.
check. We need fact checks.
Someone look that up.
Yeah, somebody.
Well, they're last in terms of passing attempts and passing yardage, things like that. But the first downs, I think you're a little off on that.
Yeah, I think we might have to check. I think he might have had a little too much beer. Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken. He might have had too much beer.
Not enough.
No, but seriously, I'm just saying, though, you got a guy rushing between the tackles 122 yards, and their offensive line is not very good. For him to get 122 yards against Green Bay was phenomenal, but that sets up the play action. That sets up the naked bootlegs. That sets up downfield passing, because now they're stacking the box, and they're saying, hey, but when you got a guy like Fields who's not throwing the ball, they don't have to respect the receivers. They don't have to. They say, hey, he's not going to throw the ball anyway, so let's just press him and press him at the line of scrimmage. Don't let him get off the line of scrimmage. The receivers have to do a better job of getting open and getting downfield and not getting beat at the line.
This week they've got their former coach, Lovie Smith, visiting Soldier Field, coming back as head coach of the Houston Texans. I got a play call for you. First play action, David Montgomery, throw it deep to Mooney. What do you think?
Mark, what did the hand say to the face? Smack. It's not going to happen, Mark. It's not going to happen.
They got to challenge him down the field, though, because Lovie's defenses have always been good in the box.
You got to establish the running game again. You got to get Montgomery off and get him running, getting some 4 or 5 pops here, 4 or 5 yards here, and then set up the play action. Don't wait till the game's out of hand to be trying to. You can't play action then, because
when you're down by 2 touchdowns, it doesn't work.
So play action doesn't work. You got to do play action when your running back is rolling, the game is tight, and you make the defense have to make adjustments. If they don't have to make adjustments, then they stick. They're going to put 8 in the box. Now, if you take Montgomery away, now you're forcing Fields to pass. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's like they don't respect his receivers, number one, because they really don't have a number one receiver. Let's just be honest. Okay, call a spade a spade. They got a lot of complementary receivers, but they don't have a clear-cut number one guy. You don't have a guy out there like a Adams from Vegas. You don't have that kind of guy. Mooney was supposed to be he's supposed to be the guy, and I like Mooney, but he got to start showing up.
Hey, I heard that you're like a 11-time champion in fantasy football, and you got victimized by some obscure rule in your league.
Let me tell you something. I'm in the Bulls fantasy league right now, and they're cheating. I'm just going to throw that out there.
They're stacking the deck against you.
First of all, they don't explain the rules, America. They just put me in a league and have me draft, and then they don't tell me the rules. I just found out this week that you can play 2 quarterbacks at the same time.
It'd be nice to know that.
They didn't say that to me. You know, they had some little thing called OP. I didn't even know what OP stood for. I was like, what is it?
OP Taylor.
Yeah, I was like, is this like a bench guy? Or I don't know. I come to find out I lose this week. I had 2 quarterbacks playing. Yeah. And I lost last week because he had 2 quarterbacks playing. And if I would have known this, I would have drafted 2 quarterbacks, but they cheated me.
So who did you put at the OP position?
I had Schuster Smith from Kansas City. Yeah. He had like 2 points. He got benched. He's off this week. If I could cut him, let me tell you what they did to me too. See, when my league is free waiver wire, you just go pick up whoever's open. You don't got to. You don't got to do anything. You don't got to do anything special. On their waiver wire, you got to wait in line. You could be the 14th player to get a player. Like I wanted to go get Jimmy G. Soon as I found out Lance was hurt, I ran to the waiver wire.
I went after him too.
I went to the waiver wire. I said, I'm gonna get him. Because I know Jimmy G's gonna be solid. Once Kittle comes back, Kittle's gonna be eating, boy. He's gonna be eating. He's gonna get about 8-9 catches a game, and I'm gonna be right there back in the mix. But they cheated me, Mark. I've never been this bad in the fantasy.
Yeah.
Seriously, after winning 10 straight and then coming over here to I don't know what league it is. It's ESPN league, which is rigged. Okay, this is the second year in a row that I've been rigged by the Bulls personnel who runs the league. I'm not gonna call any names. I'm not gonna throw any people on the bus. But now I know that OP stands for something player, offensive player. You can put anybody there. That's not even a flex player. So you got the flex, and you can put anybody in the flex. They need to tell people. First of all, you shouldn't play 2 quarterbacks. You should only be able to,
when did that start? I've never heard of that.
No, you can't play 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. You should only have 1 quarterback, and then you should, in that flex position or that OP position, that could be a wide receiver, tight end, or running back. But they tricked me. They put quarterbacks there, and I didn't know that. So when I went to go draft Jimmy G, I had to wait. I was at like a restaurant that's too crowded to get in, like Pequod's. Pequod's, you out there. We can be a sponsor out there, Pequod's. So Pequod's has like a line. You ever had Pequod's pizza?
You're delicious. Yeah, the best.
And listen, Lou Malnati's, I'm still riding with you. I'm loyal to you, baby.
It was just delivered.
Lou Malnati's, I'm loyal to you. I got nothing but love. I've been down with Lou Malnati's since 1990. Okay, and I'm not gonna turn on my boys, but I'm gonna tell you. That Pequod,
He's about to cry.
That Pequod's pizza. hey, that was but you know what the difference is? I don't want to hurt Pequod's feelings, okay? But you know what the difference is, really, between the two?
The butter crust?
Nah, because Pequod's got that cheese crust that's like melted on there. Yeah, that's tough to beat there, Tim. But I'm gonna tell you where Lou's got him beat. Now, don't get mad at me, pizza people. Pequod, don't get mad at me. I'm just giving a fair assessment. I'm a professional analyst. You just heard it. Okay, D just hit me with that. I'm a professional analyst. I'm giving you my personal opinion. Okay, you don't have to like it, but you're gonna listen. Okay, Lou Malnati's and Pequod, both Chicago iconic pizzas. Okay, can't go wrong with either one of them. If you order it on a Friday and you eat it on a Friday, it's perfect. It's where the separation comes. Is day 2. Mm-hmm. Day 2, day 3. Lou Malnati is on a different level. It's on a different. When you can send a pizza 1,000 miles and then put it in the oven and eat it, and it tastes like you just was there, they can't mess with Lou.
That's right.
They can't mess with Lou. That's the difference, Pequod. Because I put Pequods in the oven and I cooked it and I got it out.
You all right?
What?
Another sponsor down the drain.
Pequod, I'm just being honest, baby.
Better have some angel water.
But I've had Lou Malnati's on the second day. And Lou Malnati's tastes good, just good on the second day it did on the first day.
Fully homogenized.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, America. I'm honest assessment, okay? I mean, that's one thing. I keep it real, no cap. I keep it real, okay? Pequod's is still a great pizza if you eat it the same day.
Hey, speaking of number one companies, tell the folks how they can take care of their transportation needs.
Yes, okay. Shout out to my man, Mike Amaroth is in the outside waiting for me right now.
Mike, I need a deal.
No, you're not getting it right. Okay, you're not getting it right. Okay. Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, America. It's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time like me. Matter of fact, I'm using Windy City tomorrow. I'm going to the Kevin Hart
nice.
the Kevin Hart concert tomorrow.
Commercial?
Don't interrupt me again. You get a throat punch, okay? Contact us at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300. Or go to WindyCityLimos.com. They are the best in the city, baby.
Big weekend of sports coming up. What are you guys looking forward to? I don't know if there's any big UFC cards or anything.
Nothing good.
What are you going to be watching? College football, pro football? What game stands out for you?
Oh, I'm watching it all, man. I got the NFL package for the first time ever.
The DirecTV?
DirecTV.
Yeah.
No, it's not DirecTV, Mark. It's some kind of pirating. Pirating.
You don't admit that.
Just like whispers.
I think the Lions are going to beat the Vikings.
What?
Dan Campbell.
Okay.
out.
Okay, no. And I like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, like, if I was going down an alley, a dark alley, I'd have Dan Campbell next to me, man. Dan Campbell's that's
I
a
think
big,
the way the
strong
players
dude.
are going that route now.
I think that the team that people are talking about the most right now is the Buffalo Bills. They look like a clear favorite. Them and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you look at the NFC, the Eagles look for real too. Like the Eagles look really,
they were good
really
Monday
good.
night.
They're going to play the Commanders, which they'll probably get that win there. So they'll be 3-0. Tom Brady plays the Packers, which is a huge game between two great quarterbacks. And it looks like it's hard to really get an assessment of the Packers because they look so awful in week 1 against the Vikings, and then they look like a Super Bowl contender against the Bears. So the Broncos, 49ers.
That Tampa Bay defense is tough, too.
49ers going to win that game. Chargers, Jaguar. I got Chargers winning that. Patriots, Ravens. How about the Ravens? Ravens was killing the Dolphins.
Oh, they gave up that big lead.
And then they, all of a sudden, man, it was like two different teams. Like they just stopped coming out.
Yeah.
And
Lefty.
Oh, I mean, listen, Tua, give Tua some credit. They got him some tools now.
469 yards in that game.
That's the guy I needed on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Oh, you see the scores right there. Look at the 49ers and the Seahawks. Seahawks had that big win the week before against Denver. So a lot of these teams, Mark, like it's still early. Saints are going to be better than what they showed against the Buccaneers. The Giants is a surprise team.
2-0.
2-0 now. But they're playing tomato cans. The Cowboys right now, America's team. Okay, they got a big win. The Bengals has to be a surprise team. A Super Bowl team is 0-2.
Starting off like last year.
They don't look confident out there. I don't know what's wrong with them, but I think they're going to turn it around. They got to get Jamar Chase more involved. They got to get him the ball. Maybe you got to throw that ball to him like 20 times. He's on my fantasy team too. I just don't throw that out there. Sorry about that, America. I'm a professional analyst.
Hey, I saw your guy Irv Smith caught a touchdown Monday night.
Yeah, he would get a touchdown after I cut him. yeah. Because for the first week he didn't get nothing. He didn't get a catch.
Yeah, I was watching that game. I'm cheering. I'm like, Stacey's guy got a touchdown.
No. And I was out there cursing him because I was watching it, and I'm like, oh, now you want to get a touchdown. Now you want to get involved in the game. But the first week you didn't even you get points for running out on the field. He got nothing.
Got zero.
Oh, he's terrible.
A big
terrible.
fat donut.
Oh my! But I got Brittle Kittle coming back, baby.
There you go.
He's coming back this week.
Whispers, what are you watching this weekend?
I'm going to see if that king dies in Game of Thrones.
Oh, not the Game of Thrones.
Or
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons. Don't mislead the listeners, man.
Hey, that's the
Just
biggest,
like Whispers.
That's the biggest game I'm watching.
I'm gonna tell you what, Mark. Have you been watching it?
No.
Oh, Mark, you're missing out, man. Missing out. The House of Dragons. You know they're coming out with Jon Snow. Did you know that?
A series?
great.
Yes. HBO is coming out with Jon Snow.
Wait, is he going to have the Khaleesi?
I don't know. I don't know if it's after.
Pull another 10 million viewers.
I don't know. But I tell you what, man.
She's not in that House of Dragon. That's way before her,
it's
right?
way before her time.
Great grandmother.
Yes.
She a looker?
Of course.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, man. Whew. This last episode of House of Dragons was deep. It was deep, man, because they started to marry the houses. And then there was oh man,
very emotional.
It was very emotional. But man, one of the dudes went UFC on the dude and just pounded his face in.
Oh, you see that graphic? That was
the graphics. The graphics. I'm telling you something. The graphics in Game of Thrones when they kill people is unbelievable. So in House of Dragons it was the same lane. America, if you haven't watched it, too bad. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Anyway, so
I was eating a ham sandwich. I had to put it down.
I was eating too. I was like, oh man, I can't eat. I was having some pizza, and the pizza, the red sauce. and I was like,
I'm done.
Oh, I'm done. I'm finished. But the dude, one of the guards beat up a guy and just pounded his face in, like his whole face. It was just
it's pretty brutal.
It was brutal, but it's a great show. The biggest thing I'm taking away from this, Tim, is that I need to see more dragons. I need to see more fights.
Yeah,
It's too expensive to do that every week.
I don't care, man. You can't call House of Dragons and not show any dragons.
Did you like when the 13-year-old took out the guard?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. The little weasel kid. He was trying to. The kid was like 12 or 13 years old. He was trying to ask for the hand of the princess to marry. So then they laughed at him. These big knights were laughing at him, and so they said something to him, and he pulled his sword out, and he's like 12 years old. He killed this dude who was like 30. Just beat him down, just killed, and they didn't laugh at him no more.
Yeah,
Don't mess with a man with a big sword.
And just keep the Khaleesi away from House Celtic. There could be some danger.
Oh, that's terrible.
Hey, before we get out of here, tell the folks about Angel Water.
Oh, boy.
And they take care of themselves, Tim. Hey, we're giving all our sponsors first-class treatment today.
Okay. Angel Water, I'm Chief Little Legs. This is for you.
Might have to ad-lib this.
Yeah, you can shorten it up
I
a
had
little bit.
lunch today with Chief Little Legs, and he says, I've had enough of the Chief Little Legs crap.
Well, unfortunately, he's not getting any longer, so he's going to be Chief Little Legs for the rest of your life, buddy.
And also this weekend, he's having a big beer festival on his parking lot. So if anyone's out in Barrington and Route 14.
Are we invited?
We're invited.
Give me the hot sauce. Are we invited?
It'll be free beer for us, which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they have enough.
What if we get there and he says, you guys have messed up my sponsor reads.
Yeah, you're out of here.
Get out of here. Security, get him out of
They
here.
might call the police. But.
Yeah.
All right, listen up, Bulls Nation. We want to make your water healthier for you and your family. Look no further than our favorite water, Angel Water. The company's on a mission to provide the best water. Just seeing if you're still there.
Beep, beep.
Bad water can cause long-term damage to your health. But we thank them for providing us with the best water around to the Gimme the Hot Sauce Studios. Even if you leave in your car and it gets really hot, it still tastes good.
That's a lie.
Stay hydrated all year long with water you can trust. Angel Water. Call 847-382-7800 to get your water tested for free today. Find out if you got that chromium-6 stuff in there like Aaron Brockovich was talking about.
We thank them for bringing cases of water by the studio.
Yeah.
Enjoy that during the show.
Mark last week threw it up.
Keep those golden pipes going.
Yeah, we didn't forget about that. We should have had a replay on that. Yeah, Mark threw up the water last week.
Could be a meme. That's what you call a spit take in the world of comedy.
A slow-mo.
Hey, we want to talk about something very serious before we get out of here. One of our good friends, Matt Yob, longtime employee in the Bulls Media Relations Department and a good friend of Stacey and myself. Tim hasn't had the pleasure, I don't think, of meeting Matt, but one of the really true good guys in our industry right now. And there's a GoFundMe page being started for his wife, Krisha, who's been diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. And you can see the family if you're watching on our live Twitch feed or if you're checking us out on YouTube. They're going to face a lot of medical expenses for treatment coming up, and if you can spare a few dollars, there's a GoFundMe page. If you're looking at the show now, you can see it on the screen. If you're listening on our podcast, we'll get that information out there. Both Stacey and I have tweeted that information out, so if you can spare some money to help out the Yob family, Matt, one of the truly great guys, his wife going through really tough times right now. We want to make sure that their family is taken care of with all the expenses they have coming up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I talked to Matt yesterday, and it's just a tough situation to be in right now. Wasn't expected, and so anything anybody can donate will help out. They got three small kids, and any family going through this is difficult. So. Our prayers are out to the Yob family. Yeah. So just like I said, if you can donate anything, $1. $5, it will help. So we appreciate that, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing Matt at Bulls Media Day Monday. I'll be out there, get a chance to talk to some of the players, and we'll bring you the latest information on episode 100. I can't believe 100 coming up next week.
They never thought it could be, Mark. A lot of people counted us out. A lot of people thought we don't make 10 shows. Hey. We come a long way. We come from broom closet Come
And
from,
now we're going to be driving those brand new Mazdas that Jim's going to be bringing by.
Yeah,
the dealer plates.
We got
That's
dealer
right.
plates.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's got to set us up.
Yeah. You got to set us up. Yeah, I mean, we lost a few sponsors along the way.
Now we get free cars.
But we gained one. We gained one, baby. We gained one. We got to get the jingle for his lot.
Yeah, so make sure to
don't be
patronize
involved
our
on
good
the-
friend Jim Lecter.
The scandal at Randall.
Bigger's
that doesn't
Mazda.
work.
You said the scandal at Randall.
No, that doesn't
Wow. Wow, America.
Just like whispers.
Yes, just like whispers. Oh, my God.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to the sign god here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
these look nice.
America, look, I want you. We got some new banners in here now. Okay, there's, my number is not officially retired for the Bulls, but I retired it. Okay, so I can do those things right there. So my number wasn't retired, America, but I retired it. I called my boy Sign God. I said I need my jersey retired from the Bulls. Now this number is officially retired.
Nice.
Nobody wears number 33 at the University of Oklahoma. That is an official retired jersey right there. That number right there will never be worn again. Oh, yeah. No one will ever wear it again. Snap it to a Slim Jim on.
When do I get a banner?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so America, we decided that, we had a vote because, Tim, we used to play basketball over at Forest Grove, which is now Midtown, and we've retired a few people's T-shirts, okay? And you had to be a great player in the pickup games to get your jersey retired. So we had a vote this week. Tim's name came up. He's been grandfathered in because he's been vetoed so many times, like in baseball.
Yeah. You only get 10 tries and then you're out.
And then they say, okay, let's let the guy in. Yeah. Okay, so we had the last vote today. And I'm here to bear bad news. There's 10 people that voted, and 9 people voted no and never. And I was the only person that voted for him. And then I scratched it and said no too because I felt America. I didn't want to be in my own self. I didn't want to be on an island by myself.
You don't want to die on that
I didn't
island.
know, so I jumped on and said no, never. Okay, so the word, and Tim was so excited today because I said we may have a retired T-shirt like with pit stains on it, little yellow pit stains on it.
I feel like Devin Hester.
Yeah, but Devin Hester's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
At some point.
You'd be
I feel
next
like
year.
Peanut Tillman.
Peanut Tillman should be in the Hall of Fame.
absolutely.
Well, Deion Sanders made a good point, though. I don't know if you've seen his quote when he had an interview about the Hall of Fame. And it was a very interesting point. He's like, they're letting, I'm not discrediting anybody who gets put in. He said, I'm not discrediting anybody who's getting put in the Hall of Fame. But he said, I got to get me a different jacket. Like, my jacket got to be different than everybody else's. Because they're putting people in and just, who were okay. Yeah. He's like, the Hall of Fame is for people who changed the game. Go back and find that. America, go back and listen to Deion Sanders. He has an amazing point of what he said. He said they're letting anybody in with just okay stats.
So he wants a jacket made of real gold.
Yeah, he wants
fabric.
he wants a different jacket for any player who's in that Hall of Fame that was a game changer. That was a superior player. Like Walter Payton should have a different jacket than some of these running backs that are in there. Because of what he did for the game. Jim Brown should have a different Hall of Fame jacket. I mean, there should be levels. And I think what you're seeing now and what he was saying is that, he didn't flat out come out and say it, but he did. It's being watered down. Guys are just getting in now. They're just letting anybody in. And unfortunately, we're not going to fall for that trap as we try to vote Tim in. We're not falling for that trap. If he doesn't deserve to be in, he's not coming in, America. So he's been voted. He's not getting his T-shirt. And we're going to have Mark up here, too, because, Mark is getting his, he was retired from Comcast. So we got a Comcast banner of Mark retired from Comcast and all the years that he dedicated to Comcast. So we're going to retire his mic. We have a little mic up there. But Tim's not getting retired.
14 years of abuse.
14 years of abuse. So the next banner is Mark Sanowski.
Yeah,
Go up in here. And again, Tim, I don't know if we'll ever see it. But, we can dream, though, America. We can dream.
And those are some yellow armpits. I thought I made it.
Yeah.
Hey, people are eating now, and that pizza's ready. So we're going to say goodnight. I want to thank Charlie Benante. You want to check out his Dark Matter coffee that's available throughout Chicagoland. So
it's
pick
good
that
coffee.
up.
It's good coffee.
Make sure you go to GimmeTheHotSauce.com and pick up your favorite flavors. And we're coming back at you next week. It might be on Wednesday. We're going to keep people advised because Tim's got some high-level business meeting he's got to fly off to. So if he's gone, we can't do the show without Tim. So we'll let you know if
Not
we're going to.
100. Don't leave me hanging.
No, we're not going to leave you hanging.
We got a big show next week, America. I'll tell you right now. We got Hooters girls coming in. Oh, Lord. Oh, let it rain. Let it rain.
Want to thank the Hot Sauce crew for their hard work, and we're looking forward to episode 100 next week. So make your plans to join us. Episode 99 is in the books, Stace.
If you work at Hooters, get in contact with Mark Shanowski. We want you at the 100th anniversary, baby. Drive home safe in Chicago, beep beep.
What are you doing?